G'day everyone. I thought I'd just pop in with something a little bit different with you all today. I thought that we'd go through what I think are my necessary accessories that I use for my Sony cameras. Now I do have a whole range of cameras. I've got the A6 300, A6 500, the A7 series, which is the A7 III, the A9 and the A7R2. I've also got the RX 100 Mark V as well, or 5. So I thought I'd take you through some accessories that I do use on most of those cameras. Obviously some cameras will be able to use the accessories, some won't, but I thought I'd take you through my main ones. So the first one that I wanted to show you that I use all the time is this, which is the Hoodman Eyecups. Now I purchased these a while ago. I got a few of them because I put them off usually on all of my cameras. I haven't replaced it on the A7 III yet, but I probably will. You can see the difference between the hood. If I take this out and show you what these look like. So it's just that this is the actual, let me see if I can get that to focus, hood eye. It gives you mounting instructions and things like that on there. And I'm not being paid by them for this at all. I just use them. I get the larger cups because I like them to sort of fit around my eye or the glasses. You can buy different ones. If we look at the website here for Hoodman, that you can get them depending on your camera as well. So just make sure you do get your correct model that you're getting. And like I said, there's also eye versions and or eyeglass versions as well as having your standard ones, which are a bit smaller. But they fit really nicely on the camera. They have the standard Sony mount on the back. I don't think you can get these for the A6 500. You might be able to get a third-party one, I think, on eBay, but yeah, I bought these directly, I think, off Hoodman, actually. But they're really good. They last for ages. They do block out the sun, because often what will happen when you're dealing with sunlight, is particularly if you're shooting video and it's a bright day and you need to see the screen, if you're holding up the eye cup to your glasses, you can't sort of eliminate the light that's getting in. Sometimes I use my hand to go over, but these are great just for that purpose alone. So that's number one in accessories. The second thing as well that I'm going to show you is this, because this rocket blaster, honestly, really anyone that has a digital SLR user should have one of these. Now this is the, I think it's called Giotto, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I've got the large one. The reason why I like the large one is because it just gives more air to get out. Now remember, when you're dealing with Sony cameras particularly, or mirrorless, you see it, basically you're looking straight at the sensor. So the second you take lenses off, you're going to get dirt in there. So all you do is just give this a really quick squirt, and make sure that you do hold it down like that so you don't get the dust falling back in. And you just hold it underneath, and then basically you just go away like that. Now, to be totally honest, this has just kept my camera really clean on its own. I very rarely ever get them clean. Then I even do the lens, and then you'd put that back in. The thing that's important to remember is to try and keep it facing down when you use that Giotto blaster. You can see here, this is the one that I actually use. I think they're about $10.30. I think they're, well, according to B&H there, it's $10.30, but fantastic. They'll last you a lifetime, so it's only one thing that you'll ever have to basically buy in your lifetime. You won't have to buy another one. Now, one of the other things that I always buy, and because remember, you're dealing with these cameras, they do all have onboard microphones, and usually they're not very good. I mean, look, they're okay to get by in a pinch if you've taken it out and you haven't got an external microphone, but I use these. So I use these Rode VideoMicros, and they are fantastic. You can see if I pull this dead cat off, they're really small, like really small. And if I mount this onto the camera, let me just take this off. So if we mount this on, you'll see how small these are. And the good part with these as well is that you can, obviously you can face it that way, but they have a power lead, so it just connects into your normal microphone port, and then you're right to go. And the beauty of these ones, I did have the other Rode Video Pro, I think it is. But the problem is you need batteries and stuff on those, whereas this doesn't need a battery, so it's fantastic. And you know, it'll run as long as you have power in your actual camera. So I really do like this one particularly, and the sound quality is great. The other good thing too is if you're doing vlogging, well, you can just turn this around and then face it towards you at the back. So let me just turn that around. I'll show you what I mean. So you can face it that way, so it would be facing towards you when you're talking. So that's another great thing too. Really good microphones, fantastic. If you did want to check them out, you can have a look at the Rode site here that I've got, which is just Rode.com. Obviously you can get them through B&H or Amazon and stuff too. I'll see if I can put links down below, but fantastic little microphone. I just love it. And like I said, when you put the dead cat on, you're not going to have to worry about wind or anything else like that that's coming through as well. So let's look at the next one that I say is a must buy, is a LensPen, because I don't know if you all have one of these, but you really should, and I've got multiple ones of these. I make sure that I have one of these in every single camera bag that I have, and I keep them in those camera bags. They're really good because on this side here, you obviously have the cleaner that you can take it up to the lens and clean your lens, and they do a great job. It really does do a fantastic job. The other thing too that you can do on the other side is it has a little lever here that will bring out a brush, and then you can use it to go around the camera to brush off dust or grime or whatever you want to do really carefully. You could use that on your lens too if there was a little bit of dust there, but be really careful when you're doing it. You know, and take all sand or whatever away from your camera. So these really are a must-have for any camera really, and I've always had these, and I do recommend the LensPen. That's the one that I always use. I'll just bring this up and show you. There's just different versions. You'll see that they change the actual design all the time. This is the one that I've used. It's just that the one I've got's in black. This was in that one obviously is in white, but you can probably get them in black if you wanted to. You can probably choose colors, I'm not sure. But they're around, what is it, $15 US if you want to get one of those. But like I said, again, a must-have, and I have multiple of these. Like I said, I don't want to go outside and be in an area where I need one and then I haven't got one. So it's a really important thing that you have one of these, and buy one for each of your camera bags. Now, to add to that, another thing that I really like as well is the back screen on these cameras, because now they're touch screens on the latest ones, always get filthy. And I love using these. Now, they do look like something else, but sometimes I'll drop them out of my pocket and people will be looking at me thinking, what on earth is he doing? But these are fantastic. So these are great to carry these. And I use them for my glasses too, obviously, but they're fantastic for your back of your camera as well. So terrific if you want to use them for that. And I also, I don't know whether you meant to, but I have used them on my lenses occasionally. If I get a really bad mark on the lenses and the lens pen's not moving it, I will use these. I'm not sure whether you recommend that though, but obviously I'll use the LensPen if I can. But these are fantastic for cleaning your camera at the back. These work also wonderfully well for cleaning your contacts on your lenses and things like that. I've found that can take a bit of grime off, or your hot shoe as well. They're great for that. Now, these are generic. You'll be able to get these from any glass shop where you buy your glasses, optometrist. You'll be able to get them from there. But they are fantastic. So that's another thing that I use. Another great little... well, this isn't the little one. Another great accessory that you can use too if you're dealing with mirrorless, because you want to keep everything small, is to use a Gorilla Pod. This is the one I use. Now, this is a really big one because I used to use this when I had my digital SLRs, but I still like it because it lets me put my camera on and I can have it far enough away from my face to do blogging and things like that. And obviously, I can use it just as a stand and things. But if you're dealing with Gorilla Pod, they have a stack of different ones. Now, this is a GOBY, so you can look here and see there's stacks of different ones that you can get. There's a little mobile one. Gorilla 3K kit, there's tight grip type pro. There's so many different products that you can buy from Gorilla Pod. You can see here that these are all the different ones that you can actually get. There's so many of them. Like I said, I've probably got this last one, which is the really big one, and I really like that. I mean, they're great. You can move them into multiple positions. That's what I like. You can wrap them around poles, trees, you know, because these are all totally bendable. You can even, you know, rotate the head and do different things. This has got an Arca Swiss head on this one. I love it. It's great. So I use that all the time, particularly now that I'm vlogging quite a lot. What about the next thing? The next one is this, because I want to talk to you about how do you check your white balance on your camera. So this is another thing that I'd love to sort of mention to you. It's critical that if you're dealing with different lighting, and particularly in video, that you use a white balance tool. And the one that I use is this, which is the ColourChecker Passport. Let me see if it'll focus. Now I've got the video one that I use, which is a little bit different than the photography one. I've got both, to be honest. I have the stills one, and I also have the video one. This is great if you're doing manual focus, so you can use this to get a manual focus. This is fantastic for your white balance, really good for that. And then inside here, on the other side of it, you actually have your calibrations. You can obviously use this for setting grays and everything else, or setting white balance. And these are all your tones that you use for when you're setting white balance in the software, because you can calibrate this to your camera in Lightroom, and it works fantastic. You can also use this in Final Cut. You can probably use it, I'm not sure in Premiere, but I know you can use it in Final Cut to get white balance automatically from your camera, and it uses these little corner edges here to get it perfectly right, and that's using Color Finesse, which works brilliantly. So this is another thing, and that's called the ColourChecker Passport, which I'll show you here. So that's from X-Rite, and it works really well. I use this and take this to every single shoot that I do, and the way that I often work it is I'll have Kerry or my assistant or someone there standing in the light in the reception or whatever, and they'll just stand there like that, or anywhere, even if you're in a green forest. I'll take one shot and you'll get your white balance on that, and then all I do is then take the rest of the shots continuously through the day, and then I can bring that back into the software later, click my white balance tool on there, and then sync all of the other shots that I've taken at that period. If the lighting changes, I'll just get Kerry or whatever to stand in front of it again, or the model, and then do another one for white balance. So that's really an invaluable tool. It really is something that I take everywhere with me with shoots. And like I said, I've got two of them. I've got the photography one and the still one. What else have we got? Now, another thing too that I really think you shouldn't underestimate is these, your little covers for your flashes. Let me just see if that will come up. For your flash hot shoe. You really should order multiple ones of these, because I'm guaranteed that you're going to lose them. And the problem is, in Sony cameras, this is electronic. All these bits in here, the front there is all electronic. If you get water in those points, you're going to basically fry your camera. So you really should always have spare ones of these, and I just bought them off eBay. If you Google it on eBay, you'll get a stack of them. But make sure that you've got spare covers, because that is really important. It keeps dust off, keeps grime out, but most importantly, if you do get a shower, you've got that thing covered, because if you do turn it on, and I've heard of a number of people that have had water hit those contacts and it's fried their camera. Another few things that I thought I'd mention was, depending on the Sony camera that you get, you may not get battery chargers, so make sure that you do get battery chargers. This is the Sony A9, the A7R3, and the A7R3 battery charger. I don't like to charge using the camera, because if you're using these little points in your camera, where are we? These points that you're looking at here are very fragile. Also, if you've got a lead hanging in there, I really do think you can basically move the logic board or the motherboard in there, and you can cause damage. I don't think it's a good idea at all to charge unless you have to in the camera. It's always better to charge with a charger. Plus, they're quicker as well. And particularly, I've got one for my new RX 100. I'm using just this little charger that I purchased, because that didn't come with a charger. So I'm using this, because these, you go through those batteries like crazy. So that's one thing. So make sure you have got a third-party charger if you can't afford the original one like the Sony. Make sure you do purchase one because you really shouldn't be charging in camera unless you have to. Obviously, another thing too is batteries. Don't forget you're going to need multiple batteries. It's not so bad with the newer batteries because the capacity is so great. But the older batteries, particularly like the old Sony ones, you need multiple ones of these because they get flat so quickly. The newer ones you can probably get by. I get by with probably 1.5 per wedding. That's shooting a full day. These are incredibly good. If you're dealing with an RX 100, well, you need multiple ones of these. I've bought 5 because these batteries just die. And this is the third-party one that I'm using, but this is an Australian company. Is it going to focus? Yeah. This better battery, but I've bought 5. I've bought 4 originals, and then I've bought 1 third-party one just to try it to see how it goes. So that's that. The other thing too is if you're dealing with anything else sound, I'm using this to take with me. It's a Mophie or however you pronounce it. This is the one that I'll use to charge my cameras on the go if I need to. This is a massive power brick, so that's another real plus or a bit of accessory that I think you should take as well. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know if you've got any other accessories that you use that I think I've missed out on. I just wanted to go with you with some accessories that I use and love, and I take them with me all the time. Like I said, apart from that, leave your comments down below because I'd love to see what you guys think about that. Well, that's all, guys. I'll see you all again soon for the next video. Bye for now.